we're coming close to the end of the year now. We've only got a few months left. I mean, we still have 3 months left, but then that'll be our 1 year. We'll hit a year mark of doing these shows. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll do a special show.
It'll be fun. So
maybe we could both be sober for once.
Let's not push it. So this show today, it's we're the last plot. It's on Rebirth, the Rebirth. And if you go on Google and type in Rebirth stories, you're going to get these reincarnation stories popping up. That's not what this is about. So this is, I think, out of his 7, and we discussed this on off air, I think this is his weakest, and I'm not sure really that there is an entire series of books that are written using this method. Like it's really hard to find a list of titles to talk about with this.
It is like, and again, like for the listeners, we just discussed this before, and I couldn't help but feel that it was kind of like a square peg forced to fit in a round hole, and you know, they do exist, and I guess they do, for that reason, they do need defining. But it's not necessarily always just the book, is it? We kind of discussed that it can be, you know, a particular character's storyline that, you know, spans across a saga,
yes,
for instance.
Yeah, for instance, you mentioned the Star Wars with Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Uh-oh, that's spoiler alert. Like,
what, you mean Stewie turns good again?
That's what I hear. Yeah. Although really, he does die like 10 minutes later, so you don't know if that was really going to stick.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So he could have been having us all on.
He could have. Yeah, he could have just been like that. Yeah, he could have done that to try to become, you know, the new Dark Lord of the whole Empire, and then Luke would be his new apprentice. You know, like I don't know.
He just kind of repented in the last moment to make sure that he became one with the Force.
That's right. Yeah, so that he could get out there. So, but we certainly can see these hero rebirths or rebirth stories happen for characters, and it happens, I think, quite frequently especially through long story arcs. A couple of the ones that we did, you know, identify right away. Sleeping Beauty follows this series of plots, and as well as Beauty and the Beast. And let's just go through this, and we can just talk about them. But the basic idea is, as Booker writes it out, is it's a young hero or heroine falls under the shadow of a dark power. The second part is, for a while, all may seem to go reasonably well. The threat may have even receded. The third is that eventually the threat returns in full force and imprisons or seems to kill the hero or heroine. Fourth, this continues for a long period of time, and it looks like the darkness is triumphed completely. And then finally, miraculous redemption, either by the hero or by the person who's imprisoned at an older age. So that's really...
Yeah, it's... I was underwhelmed a little. I mean, it has a structure, and it does kind of like follow, you know, the similar, you know, everything's going well, but then, you know, you ramp up the tension, and it has the you know, the generic kind of plot structure. I don't know, maybe people don't like writing them.
and that could be, you know, things come in and out of vogue. Things are, you know, that this is an interesting plot today, and maybe it's not going to be tomorrow. But I would almost argue that this plot is really a subplot, and that this would fit in with something more like overcoming the monster. You know, that you know, that the person, you know, has been taken away, and that they're trying to get him back and have to destroy the person in order to get the what's going to be the hero. Oh, or for instance, did you ever see that movie Willow?
I don't think I did. Who was that? Was that a Joss Whedon thing?
No, it was. I thought it was George Lucas or Steven Spielberg. It's one of them.
Yeah.
And so it's a fantasy where Willow, he's the hero of the story, but really they're trying to rescue this baby who is going to create a great world ahead or something like that, you know. And so this dark witch has stolen her, and everyone's coming back to get her, and they kill the dark witch in the end. And that seems to be
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Sorry. If you've never seen Willow, just ruined it. The good guys win. So
lesson for all the dark witches out there.
That's right. Unless you're in a tragedy, that's pretty much 99% of how stories end. Tragedy or a George R.R. Martin book. So, but that idea, you know, that seems to be where this comes into play as a secondary set of a plot, a secondary plot. You know, that you've got the hero or the heroine who's going to be a hero in a future time. You know, it's not right now, and they're going through all this and then rescued at the end by someone else so that they can be back in power.
Yeah, I think that's a great point on the subplot, because I think it feels it's quite a bittersweet ending when you know, a villain, if it's told in the way of a villain sort of having a rebirth and, you know, turning good, it's kind of like quite a bittersweet thing, but it doesn't feel powerful enough to be like a satisfying ending. It feels satisfying enough to be an ending to a, like you say, to a subplot or to a particular character storyline, but not as a main plot point for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and come back next week for more. Please visit thebookeditorshow.com for show notes, links to guests, books and extras, and for information on how to be a guest on the show.